All right, let's have a look at the two games that are happening tomorrow. The first game is happening in Delhi. This is where it's happening here, Rajasthan and Hyderabad. So match 28. Well, we're at the halfway stage officially, 56 league games. Let's talk about this game. These are two teams that really, they've not had the kind of season that they wanted. Hyderabad, of course, because just haven't got anything right. Now they've got a captaincy change. And Rajasthan, just the personnel loss. They lost Jofra Archer before the tournament began. They lost Ben Stokes in game number 1. Some other players have gone back. And there's a lot of times you say both these teams need a win. I think both these teams they need something, Simon. It's almost like they need hope.
Yeah, look, it hasn't been Hyderabad's year at all, has it? I think at times they've looked like they've been okay with the bat. They just haven't, they've relied heavily in the last few years on Bhuvi, on Rashid, and on their Indian talent with the ball. And it's kind of hasn't been at their best this year. Rashid's still been good, but he hasn't been backed up very well. And then when they have had smaller totals to chase, they haven't been able to chase them down. So the batting has let them down at times as well. Just haven't been a cohesive unit, and maybe a change of captaincy fixes that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm more curious to see who takes the field. I think the drama for Hyderabad will begin before the match starts.
Yeah.
Does Warner play? Does Warner not? If Warner doesn't play, you can have differences of opinion on Warner, the captain. I know Warner, the batsman, hasn't been at his best so far, but neither has Kohli, neither has Rohit. There's some very big names that have not been at their best. If Warner, the batsman, doesn't play, there's a much deeper story.
Correct.
Here's the thing, though. All right, I'll ask, if Warner, the batsman, doesn't play and Jason Roy plays in his place, clearly there is a story, that there's plots and subplots. What if Warner, the batsman, doesn't play and that allows you to maybe play a Jason Holder in the middle, right? To give you that option and that experience that perhaps they're lacking in the middle, and you've got Riddhiman Saha opening up front. Then what do you say? Because then that means you're picking your captain, Kane Williamson, of course, and you can only play one of Bairstow or Warner. Now, let me ask you that question. If you could only play one of Bairstow or Warner, Simon, who are you picking tomorrow?
Bairstow.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's been their best player. I think he's been their best player. He's got them off to starts more often than not, and I think he's been their best player. So that's my answer.
Harsha, that's been the problem for them, right? Because Rashid is he's your compulsory blind. And then Johnny Bairstow on form. Warner was your captain. You needed Kane Williamson there. So you had it was top loaded. And suddenly there was a little lacuna of kind of, there was that, who's holding it together for you? At maybe 6 or 7. And Jason Holder did that well last year, didn't he? A couple of games.
I'm just thinking, how bad is Bhuvi's injury? Do we know at all? Bhuvi didn't play the last game. If he's not available for this game as well, then suddenly they need more support. You can't just have Rashid try and pretend Rashid Khan's 4 overs are actually 16. He's only got 4. So given that, I wonder if they'll want the experience of Holder. Not that Holder's the gun T20 bowler in the world, but I just wonder if that might cause them to have Holder in. But on that track, 200 plus kind of track, you want a Jason Roy opening. Can you imagine Jason Roy getting 50 of 25 in no time if he gets going on that track?
And he'll feel comfortable walking out there with Bairstow as well.
Yeah, there you go. But if Warner has to rediscover form, that's the best place to rediscover form.
Correct. There you say, Hyderabad has more questions than we have answers for. And we have more questions than Hyderabad has answers for. So we're just going to find that out tomorrow. Let's have a look at Rajasthan's team and see what they may end up doing. There you go. There's Rassi Vendadusan. Did I say that right? He's there, but he's not available for them. That's why we haven't put his name there. Do either of you know? Can either of you tell me where Kartik Tyagi is? Does anyone know?
He was unavailable. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Was he? Is he still unavailable though? Is he still? Was it an injury? What does any?
Whether he's back or not, I'm not 100% sure. But I know he was out for. He's been out for what, 4 games now? Yeah.
No, he's not played any. He hasn't played a game.
But he's actually been out. He's been unavailable for the last 2 or 3 games at least.
So he was. So
from what I understand, he was there at the start of the tournament because we saw him warming up in the first couple.
Yeah.
But I think he's been gone since then.
All right. But if you see the rest of the team, do you see any changes in their team though?
What do they do? Do they look to? They still got to fight for this year. That's the key. So I don't think they make too many changes. They just need more out of Joss Butler. They need more. Tiwatia hasn't done a lot. They've had to drop Shreyas Gopal. They're not getting a huge amount out of Riyan Parag. He concerns me a little bit. Do they have someone else to come into that sort of role? They've tried Manan Vora. They've been all over the shop a little bit. Obviously, losing a couple of key players has certainly not helped them, but they've still been a little bit all over the place and haven't found their combination.
Is Kutsi available? I noticed that.
Yeah, George Kutsia.
Not available. Just been added. Not available yet.
Okay, just been. My fear for them is all their bowlers are, except for Morris, are take the pace off bowlers. There's Zakaria, there's Mustafiz, and there's Unadkat. They're all take the pace off bowlers. On this track, I don't know how much that's going to work if you're to consistently take the pace off bowler. So that might be a factor. I mean, they made 170 against Mumbai and lost easily.
Yeah, that is true. And there was also, you're also questioning stuff, right? I mean, you had Shivam Dubey play that innings there with, you leave Morris and, Tewatia just in the hut. You're not, utilizing after a good start. So there was, so can that happen though, Simon, when things are not going a team's way, then even tactically you end up making, one wrong call that just kind of changes the course of the game?
Yeah, when things aren't going your way, those calls that you think might work, and you think, okay, I'm going to change it up here. I'm going to do something different. They just don't work. When things aren't going your way, they just don't work. If you're in a team that has a bit of confidence and you make a change, all of a sudden it works and you look like a genius. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. When you're in a bad way, things aren't working. Whatever you try, sometimes just does not work, and it's not always the tactical decision's fault.
And there's no explanation. Remember last year, they just brought Jayant Yadav, Mumbai. I mean, they're winning everything. Jayant Yadav comes, he bowls 4 overs, 2 for 20 or something like that.
Yeah.